up, Tara, and everything's looking good.
Well, I'm so glad that the sound is better than last time. Oh my gosh, what a disaster for the first half of our video last time. But I think it should be better.
Good.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and post on Twitter so that we can get that reposted. But thank you guys all so much for joining us. These are our Friday live charting sessions. We're the Twins of Crypto. We do this every Friday just to give you guys a chance to come hang out with us, see what we think is going on in the charts, and show you why we have the targets that we do. And this, we're excited for you guys to join us today. So. We are also streaming on YouTube now, so if you catch us over on YouTube, make sure to come and say hi. We are the Twins of Crypto on YouTube as well. So, yeah, let me get this posted on Twitter.
Great introduction, Tar.
Thanks.
Hope everyone is doing good on this Friday. We actually have a big thunderstorm going on where we are. Have you seen that, Tar?
Yeah, I'm hoping my power doesn't go out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Tara may not be here if her power goes out.
My power goes out so easily.
Yeah. Hello, Diesel. Hi, Wesley.
Hi, Future Kind. Hi, Ross. Yes, I get my own chat now.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, you can watch this over on our Twins of Crypto YouTube or on X. So we finally got that dual streamed worked out. So this is going to be a good one.
I know. I think so too. And we haven't been just updating as much as we normally do, but the market's just been going sideways anyway. So I know a lot of people.
I never know what to post like when nothing has happened.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know what to say when nothing has changed.
Yeah.
But maybe I should get better at just saying nothing.
Same.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know a lot of people are asking like, what do we think is going on? And nothing has really changed, but let's go over that and just update people and show them what we're thinking is happening. So
okay. And eventually we want to get some more solid like segments to these live streams. I think that it'd be nice if we started out with like Bitcoin and took a look at the high time frame and then zoomed in to the small time frame and then flipped over to XRP, kind of did that. And then maybe did a segment on altcoins. And so if there's any altcoins that you guys want us to cover, put it in the chat. And we could get to those at the end. So you can either do that on the YouTube chat or the X chat. So, and then hopefully soon the chat starts going on the screen because that always takes like several minutes for the chat to start going on there. But we should be ready to rock and roll here soon. We just kind of like to give a little opener to give people some time to join because we always start kicking it off and they're like, hey, wait, did you cover XRP yet?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do Bitcoin first and then go to XRP just to try to give people some time to get here. So does that sound good?
It does. But it's saying, oops, 1 second.
Okay. I can flip over to your screen if you want. We can test that out. Hi, Tom.
It's saying I can't chat back because I have to sign in, and then it's not letting me sign in. Here, wait. Let me try one more thing. A second.
Okay.
It's gonna pop up over here, but let me.
You don't necessarily have to chat back, but as long as you can see the chat for any like requests, then that might be good. Over. Hello, how's Canada? Is it still snowy up there? I always wonder if it's like way crazy snow.
Yeah, well, we're not too far away from Canada.
Yeah, we're not.
And we don't have snow anymore.
It's a whole nother world from what I hear. Completely different.
Okay, so you said you want to get into maybe Bitcoin first and do like the macro, and then we'll...
I think that's a good... Like, I think we should get this a little more structure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But we know so many people just want XRP. That's why I think usually we just head for that first. But so let's do Bitcoin macro first, and then we can zoom in to the smaller time frames.
Okay.
I'll share my Bitcoin chart, and then,
I'll flip to you then.
From there. Okay.
Let's get going. Like I said, you guys, we can see the chat. So if you have any questions along the way, make sure to put them in the chat. If you don't know us, we are Twins of Crypto. My name is Cassie, and that's my twin sister, Tara. And you can find us at Cassie Trades on X or Precision Trade 3 on X. And our biggest passion is technical analysis. So what you're going to see here today is basically our framework in action. So we use the RSI, we'll use Fibonacci, and we use Elliott wave theory. Just those three things is what we use to read and predict the market. So that's what we're going to share with you today. Like I said, if you have any questions along the way, just put it right into the chat, and we'll hopefully answer those for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and share your screen, Tar.
Okay.
And like we said, Tar is probably going to go through the Bitcoin macro, and then we'll talk about the small time frame. So macro is the larger degree. There's a lot of moves that can happen within the macro and not necessarily change the macro plan. And as we zoom in, that's where we get more to the short-term action and what could be happening today and into the next week. So kick it off, Tar.
All right. Yeah. So here is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. So I just have this on crypto.com exchange because I don't have a lot of my work here, so you guys can see really what's happening. But just keep in mind that this was listed in 2020, so it doesn't have all of the Bitcoin data. There's a lot missing back here. But most importantly, what's the most important on Bitcoin right now is what I'm going to show you, and that is visible on this chart. So right now, from the all-time high, we're tracking this correction coming down. And if you've been following us for a while, we've been tracking this as a wave 4. And wave 4 can come all the way to the top of this wave over here without being invalidated. So just recently we had this crazy dip coming down below that level, which technically would invalidate it as a wave 4. Currently, right now, it dipped below, but right now it's hovering almost exactly at that level here. So this is why half the market is divided, still believing that this could be okay for a wave 4, and the other half is set on this being going to form a deeper correction for a wave 2. So it's exactly in the middle right now, and it is still undetermined, really, if we could come up for a 5th wave, or if we're just going to come up for a smaller wave B and then down for a wave C to deeper levels.
Or a wave 3 can come after this.
Or a wave 3.
It's undetermined between it being a wave 4 or a wave 2. And just like Tara was saying, that would lead to either a wave 5 after this, which is just a small new high, or a wave 3 after this, which is a much larger wave and new high, obviously.
So we've shown all three of those scenarios many times during our lives. Or during our live streams. I always say lives, and it's so funny because it's like during our lives, like, but so the critical levels that we have to watch out for right now are this 0.5 level here at 70.5. You can see it broke down below that and is coming up to that as resistance right now. So, on this higher time frame, this is our major resistance right now, is that 70.5. As long as we're below this 0.5 level, we should be expecting the 618 here. On crypto.com, it's 57.4, but I know like on Bitfinex, Binance, and we chart most of the exchanges on those higher, or on those just bigger exchanges with the larger volume, bigger liquidity, that type of thing. That 618 support level is as far down as 50,000. So when we zoom in a little bit here on Bitcoin, I'm going to take you to the Bitfinex chart, and you'll see that there a little bit more clear. So right now, like I said, as long as we're below the 0.5 level, we should be expecting the 618 here. So, and I'm actually going to go to my other chart because even though it is a little bit.
618, then, if we do reach down towards the 50,000 level, that really confirms that this is a wave 2 instead of it being a wave 4. I'm leaning towards this being a wave 2 instead of a wave 4 for those other signs that you showed, like we're breaking below the 0.5, and technically we did break into wave 1, which technically is an invalidation. So I definitely think we need to be prepared for that 50,000 mark, which would send XRP to its lower supports that we keep talking about at 87 cents. So that kind of aligns nicely. And what's exciting about that is they both would be kicking off a wave 3 at the same time, instead of instead of Bitcoin coming up for like that wave 5 that'll be really labored. and struggle, they both could get exciting at the same time. So
definitely.
That's kind of the silver lining of this coming down towards that 50,000 level. That's what we have to look out for.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's going to happen pretty fast. Like, we have this war narrative ramping up. Like, what is this war even for? Like,
I know.
So confused.
Well, and it didn't do anything to the market, which we know news does not move the markets. And this is just almost proof of that, because we have news of the war, but it pumped and it didn't really, nothing really happened in the market. Yeah. So we know that news.
It has held like way surprisingly well for what's happening like, in the news. Yeah. It's really interesting. And it's almost like this war everyone was like expecting anyway. Like everyone was saying that it was going to happen like for years now. I know we're always in a conflict with them, but it just seems like, what is this war even here for?
I know.
I'm just so confused.
Well, don't we say that about every single war though? Because really the people don't want war. We don't.
Well, we know that they are meant to bring change.
Yeah.
And hopefully it is for
hopefully this brings a change into crypto.
That we've been waiting for.
Yeah. Okay, so here is, this is the Binance chart on the 4-hour time frame. So I'm zoomed in a little bit. This has a little bit more of my fibs, so I just wanted to just move to this chart. This is the all-time high there at 125,000. Like I said, we're tracking the correction as it develops. Right now, it's looking almost as if it's almost a full ABC. And I'm going to take you guys through that. And when we do have a full ABC that forms, that means technically that correction could be finished at that level. So,
well, full ABC, but that C hasn't reached its target, right?
Right. So this would be the A coming down here. This is our wave B so far. And this is what we're tracking as a wave C. And it has, and it has a little bit lower targets. That wave C target is the 1 fib here at 52.2. And so you can see that hasn't been reached yet. So we're zooming into the subwaves here to try to track that 5-wave structure for wave C. And I'm going to zoom in and show that in a little bit. But
so on the macro for Bitcoin, you're pretty much saying that we're in this correction, obviously, since all-time high.
Yeah.
And it's most likely going to be a wave 2, because our wave 4 has technically already been invalidated. If it did start to bounce off that level, we may have accepted that invalidation. But right now we're getting signs that it's resisting.
Yeah.
And now you're going to start to zoom in on those subwaves of the correction, which appear to be part of the C still. And that C is aligning towards that macro that we talked about. So the macro level right around 50 to 52,000, our C, so our subwaves of that are also aligning down towards that level. So that's a second point of confirmation that we're going to be coming down there, but hopefully having a huge reaction off that level. So definitely be prepared. And Tard, you said you were going to break down the C waves for us then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so right now, the reason, so right here is that dip below this level. So I have to zoom in actually a little bit. This is the dip that, it dropped us past that invalidation level for wave 4, and it made a new all-time low on, not all-time low, but very close to an all-time low on the RSI. This was almost as low.
Definitely multi-year low,
yes,
right?
Almost as low as that last correction when Bitcoin was around 15,000. So that just is too much strength for it to be a wave 5 of wave A, or for this correction to be finished right here. Most of the time when we have this strong of momentum, the price has to come down and test it one more time, hopefully with a bullish divergence, meaning less strength, but a lower price. So that's what we're watching for. And that's really why we're expecting a new low, and why this is now what we believe to be wave C finishing here instead of a fifth wave A here, which is almost invalidated as a fifth wave A. So we're
definitely coming to too low of fibs for this to be part of A still.
Yeah. Yep.
Normally A wouldn't be reaching like a 618 retracement. So I definitely agree we're in some sort of C wave. But the subwaves of C are pretty clear, especially with what we're seeing from that bounce.
We'll go in those in a second.
Okay.
So we have the three scenarios that we're tracking on Bitcoin. That wave A is almost invalidated. So that's really going to help. Once it is invalidated, there's really going to be only two scenarios left that we're going to be tracking, which is going to help this just sideways action and this level that's just really this gray zone where it needs to reach a new level in order for us to confirm really what's going to happen next. So this on here I've showed on crypto.com, I showed that 0.5 level, but this is Binance and you can see it is a different price here. Technically, what we want to see in order to confirm the bottom is a break above this 382 here at 79,000, and it hasn't been able to come back up above that level yet. So we know that there really should be another bottom forming or just a new price low, like I said, hopefully with a bullish divergence on the RSI. So that's kind of what we're waiting for. And like Cassie said, we're going to take you through the subwaves here of this wave C and show you why those are also hinting towards one more low as well. So so let's zoom into the 1 hour and maybe I can get, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of it on the 1 hour. So it's going to be a little bit hard to get. Well, okay, so we'll start at the wave B. You can see we don't really have a very clear wave 2 of this wave C. I'm assuming this is the wave 2 right here. This was the deepest retrace of, after a 5-wave structure here. This is the deepest retrace here. And you can see it was just very shallow. What looks to me almost like 23%, probably the 236 only resistance level right here. So just a very shallow wave 2 during this 5-wave structure coming down. So after this wave 2 here, we know this to be wave 3. This was that flush like I was just showing you on that higher time frame. It dropped the RSI very low. Usually that means that is the wave 3 or subwave 3 of this wave C that we've been tracking. So since that flush that happened there, we've been tracking a wave 4. Wave 4 can come up to, or has a textbook target of the 382 resistance here, in which that has already been reached. You can see it reached that level without forming really any type of waves. Normally, if it comes to the target during a wave 4, very quickly like that, it'll start to consolidate or a lot of times triangle out, which you can see here. I've been tracking a triangle. It's really messy. It just is just no clear common wave patterns. And it was really hard to track this triangle. So I do have the trend lines still here because I do think it's still playing with these trend lines, but I don't necessarily think it's an Elliott wave triangle. But it is a consolidation pattern nonetheless. So
so even if we don't get a really clear pattern, what is very evident in this price action is that it's a wave 4.
And
a lot of this is exactly what we would expect out of a wave 4, which means we would have that other low. So even more confirmation now on the 3rd degree that we most likely will be coming down to 50,000.
So when it did start this wave 4 here, we had two targets. We had that 382, and then we had the 0.5 fib up at 75.4. The reason why I was thinking that it could come up to that 0.5 fib is so that 5th wave target, that 5th subwave target of C down below would line up a lot better instead of dropping us below the macro 618. And so I'm going to show that here right now. We have, these are the fibs. I have to zoom out a little bit. The fibs that we've been tracking here for this wave C are these 3 levels down here. So we have that 1 fib for the full wave C, which is a lot of times wave C is the same size as wave A. So that's what this 1 fib is representing. The full wave C should be finishing here. I have the 618 that I'm just remeasuring, I guess, adjusting this with any new high it makes here up for wave 4. Currently with this high here, you can see that it brings the 618, so the 5th wave of wave C down to 50.6. So this is lining up pretty nicely. And the reason why I thought it could go all the way up to that 0.5 here, and you can see it didn't quite make it. There still is a gap of liquidity left up there at the resistance that it really could be touched before it drops, but it's, we'll get into that in a second. So if it came all the way up to that 0.5 fib there at 75.4, you can see that brings that subwave target of wave C exactly up to the full wave C target. So that would have lined up pretty nicely down there if it did reach 75.4. So like I said, I'm just adjusting this fifth wave target with the high that wave 4 makes. Always go in and put the coordinates in so that your fibs are exact. And I keep moving mine. I'm going to have to go back in and plug those in a second. But yeah, so right now you can see that this fifth wave is targeting 50.6. This is the 618 support here at 49.9 here on Binance. So we've mentioned this many times before, but if it can come down and pick up all of this support and all of this liquidity here, there's a really good chance that Bitcoin could push to a wave 3 next. And so ideally, that's what we want to see, is Bitcoin coming down and reaching these supports here during this next wave so that it has enough momentum and support to break past targets up there, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's zoom in onto this wave 4 here.
Yeah. So even with the high that we have already reached in this wave 4, so it's already reached target, which means that we really shouldn't have a lot of traders still in position. It's already reached the 382. But then with it being just a sub wave 5 coming down, I really don't think it's a time to be shorting the market either, because a lot of times our wave 5 can fail. So as we're approaching below a 0.5 retracement and heading to 618 retracement, it really is a time to focus on grabbing those supports into a long or just adding to your position. It really isn't a time after something has retraced 60% to try to short the rest a little bit.
Yeah, so normally you would be catching longs, like you said. And so this has been our advice for so many weeks now. We believe that we should just be putting orders on these macro support levels and waiting for the market to come to you. At this point in time, we should really have most of our bags packed. Because it has already reached that 0.5 fib, and then we're waiting for hopefully the 618 fib to go off as well. So we're not going to miss out on a move that pushes up any higher. We're just going to be adding to our holdings if it does come down to the 618 there. So, a lot of people are saying that my voice sounds very robotic. So I don't know how to fix that, but hopefully I don't still sound like a robot. But so on here on the 1 hour time frames, this is the trend line I'm just still keeping from that triangle. You can see it just came down and tested it as support. So this is going to be what I'm watching further. Is it holding this as support and maybe even coming back up still from here to 75.4 and then dropping again? But if it does break this trend line down here, and you can see it's so close, if it does start to break that down, we can continue tracking the rest of that fifth wave coming down here. So it would be the fifth wave of wave 5 of wave C. So
is that with your voice, Tar? Is it robotic or kind of raspy? Because
I don't know.
It seems like a little raspy, like in my mic, like not robotic, but it just seems raspy.
I don't know.
But it's for me, it always is like that. Like I feel like it was more of my mic, like my headphones. But let me know. Let me know what it is. We might be able to fix it. We could maybe turn down your mic a little bit so it's not like so blaring in it.
Okay. Okay. We'll see.
Tom, well, if you guys we'll have time to get to Flare, GRT, HBAR, and XLM. So we'll have all those for you here at the end.
Yeah. If you guys are on, they said just a little bit, so it's not too bad. I hope it's okay. If you're on YouTube, let me know.
And like all the technical talk
Robotic.
seem like
robotic.
kind of robotic.
Yeah, I know.
She's
it is a little
AI,
mundane.
I promise. She's not an AI.
Yeah.
Raspy robot, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So here we are. Yeah. So like I said, this is the level I'm going to be watching out for as we head into the weekend. Is it either breaking this trend line back down, and then coming to this macro support here? This is at 64.4. What is this? The 0.5. Yeah. So 64.4 would be the macro 0.5 support. So once we break back down, through this trend line here, this is that support that I'm going to be watching. Typically this would be breaking on this next wave down. And like I said, finishing off the rest of that fifth wave there. So this is what we're going to be watching for on Bitcoin heading into the weekend. I'm not sure if we're going to get enough movement over the weekend, but definitely into next week. This is what we're going to be watching closely for is, like I said, I don't like this gap here that it just missed the resistances up here. And I feel like Bitcoin does this all the time where it'll have that gap and start to look like it's forming that next wave and then be like, oh, nope, just kidding. I have to come pick that up first and then come down. So I think we just have to watch it closely. If it does come up, these are going to be heavy resistances. This isn't still confirmation that the bottom is in and we shouldn't get too excited. Like I said, it could come all the way up to 79,000 and still be okay for this wave 4, meaning still expecting that 52,000 next. So this would be a time, I mean, I don't want to give any financial advice, but these coming up to these resistances here would mean a good short because it would still be part of a subwave for, like I said, still expecting a fifth wave down. So
I don't like the idea of a short.
Yeah, I know.
There are some people who will do it anyway. Yeah. And if you are one of those crazy people who wants to short the market, that is definitely going to be a better price to short is either at that 75 or 79.
Yeah.
If it does start to come up, you're going to want to get confirmation on the small time frame RSI that bearish divergence is printed and built up over a few time frames, like 5-minute, 15-minute would be nice. But like we've said, we've already reached like the 382 typical target for this. So I feel like that's kind of why it's like going more stagnant and to the right is there probably is not a whole lot of trading happening at this time.
Yeah.
So that's what happens in wave 4s is it kind of just stays there for a while until we get a big spurt of momentum.
It's meant to shake people out of the market. And you don't want to get shaken out. We don't want to trade it all. Like Cassie mentioned, we should have already been out at this textbook resistance here, and we should just let the market develop and form and let it do what it has to do until it reaches the next critical levels. So yeah, I do think that it is possible that it comes up to 75.4 because I mean, like I said, it would just line up a lot better for the fifth wave.
Down towards the bottom. Yep. I love when it does that.
Me too.
I love when it plays out like that.
Well, and I think that since it missed it, it's going to want to come back and reach it so that it does line up. And we've seen this so many times where this gap right here might need to be filled and these resistances might need to be picked up before it has a stronger drop down for that fifth wave. So yeah, I don't like this gap up
then
here.
For XRP, for Bitcoin, before we get to XRP, plans for Bitcoin are actually similar to XRP.
Yeah.
But for Bitcoin, you're going to want to wait till it comes down to these major supports. So the 0.5 will most likely get broken if we come down and test it again, which means we will head to the 618. So that is focusing on 50,000 to 52,000. Those are like the key levels down below there. That's the major 618. But then also Tara showed how a lot of our subwaves are lining down towards that level. So a big cluster of support right there.
Yeah.
And technically the wave 2 standard target is 618.
Yeah.
So that would be a major target there for Bitcoin to reach there. So no action right now where we're at. We want to wait for the support to come down there and get reached and everyone in on that support. So we take off.
Yeah.
But then if we get some kind of surprise where wave 5 fails, then that would have to come up all the way above, even above 79,000 and break that level.
Right.
Like Tara mentioned, that's the 382 fib. So we would need to come heavily above that resistance and flip it to support.
Yep.
That would be another sign where our plans would have to change. Coming back and flipping that to support is a major buy signal. So we're kind of stuck in the middle here where we need to either see resistance up there break and flip to support, or we need to come down to our lower supports, which I think is most likely that we are going to be coming down to those levels.
Yeah. And we've showed this so many times about why it's important that Bitcoin does do that. The major bear scenario that is still in play on Bitcoin.
Don't even mention this. Every time you
we need
the bear
to
scenario, I'm like, I get so depressed. I'm like,
Me
that
too.
is not happening. That bear
No,
scenario
hopefully not.
will not happen.
But anytime the macro is holding a 0.5 level like this, it makes it really indecisive because it's not clear as a wave 4 or it's not clear as a wave 2. So right now you can see it's trying to hold this macro 0.5 here at 64.4. And we don't want Bitcoin to break up into higher levels without reaching these lower supports here, because that could mean that if it does come up, it won't have enough momentum to break these, but it could also mean structure-wise that it would come up for a wave B to these two resistances here. So, and those are 85.3,
and
which
then come down lower after that. So it would extend the timing of this correction much longer.
Yeah.
And it would head for much deeper levels if we can't reach that 618.
Yes. And so now that we're just within this wave here, since we're so close to picking this up, ideally that's what we want Bitcoin to do, is to break this 0.5 down and come and scoop up these supports, because then, like Cassie said, the 618 and structure wise, and just support wise, like just with all that support there building at the 618, that would have enough momentum for Bitcoin to break past these major resistances up here. But then structure wise and going in line with Elliott wave theory, I guess, would mean that Bitcoin's on a wave 3, and which could get really exciting soon. So these are smaller time frame waves, but it's showing you how critical this time is on Bitcoin, because the next waves or the next levels that are reached are going to define everything. It's really going, like, it's going to determine the fate of Bitcoin, I would say.
And what's next about counting this out is it does give you perspective too in timing, where we are now on the final 5th wave of wave C of wave 2. So this is almost done. And I really like the clarity that actually the chart is giving, is that this is clearly a wave 4. A lot of signs coming down towards it coming to that 618.
Yeah.
So just like Tara said, that wave 3 could be very exciting coming off of here. If we do come down perfectly to that 618 level, so 50,000 to 52,000, the target for wave 3 would be upwards of like 240,000.
Yeah.
That would be a full wave 3 target, and not even extended. So it honestly could go higher than that, but that's the first extension level on Bitcoin that we would target. So a lot of upside that would help out altcoins and XRP immensely. Yeah. So we really want that to happen.
Yeah. So bears on Bitcoin are trying to hold this level here at the 0.5 because they think that we're going to be coming up to resistances right now and then drop to lower targets. Probably we've measured this before, but it's that 786 support that would be targeted around 28,000. But bulls actually really want this to drop now and pick this support up now so that it doesn't have to after coming up to those resistances, and then it'll also have enough momentum to break and then test the last all-time high. So that's what we're expecting, and hopefully we will get it. Hopefully this will just break through. We'll pick up these supports. We'll have our bullish divergence, and everything will be perfect, like TA perfection. And then we can just move on from this.
I love when it aligns perfectly like that. It really pisses me off when things align and then the market just takes off.
I know.
Like, nothing is worse than that, except that it's going up. So that would be okay. But like you said, we do need it to come back and pick up those supports first, and we're so close. So
we're so close.
We did it now. We didn't drag this out forever. Let's just get it over with. Okay, and then with everything kind of heating up, like with the war going on, this is really the perfect narrative to try to drive those down. Like that's
really
what they could blame this on, is any development with that. And what's interesting though, like we were saying, is it's actually holding pretty well for us starting into this war and all the news. Like you read the news and it's like doom and gloom right now.
Yeah.
But then the market is okay. Like we have not made a new low, and below that wave 3 there was really nothing going on at that time. So.
No, bulls actually don't want a relief right now, and I just showed, I mean, this is kind of the only relief that we would get is up to 75.4, but I just showed why it would be actually bad for Bitcoin to come up and push up past 79,000 right now, because it won't have enough support and momentum to break past the 0.5 fib here. If it does come up without reaching those lower supports, it's going to hit a major roadblock here, as high as 93.2,
head to lower.
And then head down. Then after that, it would come to even lower targets. It would try to reach the 618, but then the wave C of that is targeting the 786. So actually, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, start hoping that it comes down first before
like
breaking up.
Maybe they're just short-term bull up to 75 or 79,000.
Yeah,
that would still be okay.
That would still be okay
in the micro plan here.
Yep.
But you're really testing your luck if you're longing up to that point. That's already came up, attempted it, and rejected. You've got some balls if you're trying to trade that right now.
Yep, exactly.
Definitely wait for, in my opinion, wait for those lower supports to be reached. And if we're all in there waiting for the lower supports, it's going to give it what it needs to kick off. So,
exactly.
So let's all wait for 50 to 52,000.
Yeah, let's all do that. And let's place as many buys as we can right on that level.
Just save your money for that level and all buy in there. That's what we need to do.
Exactly. Let's all be on the same team here.
Should
we head over to XRP then?
Yes.
Let's share your XRP chart. I think.
And were we going to start like on the higher time frame?
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. I mean, I know XRP is just literally going sideways right now. But maybe we can just recap on the macro first, just like we did on Bitcoin, and then zoom in. And then show what we're expecting soon-ish.
And I live like in the micro, like 1 hour charts. Like I'm not normally on these macro, but let's show it for maybe anyone who's new watching us like on YouTube or hasn't seen us gone through this. So I'm stepped out on the daily chart right now. So this is the macro view of XRP. We have a perfect 5 waves up to all-time high. So lot of reasons why this is a really good count here, and most likely the count why I'm right that is 5 waves up. From that high there, our all-time high, we are definitely on a wave 2. Like there's no doubt about that. We have already broken past wave 4 targets, clearly invalidated wave 4. So we are for sure on a wave 2 with XRP. Some exchanges did reach down towards a 854 retracement already. So it's just very evident that we're on the wave 2. So that's bad and exciting. And we have spent a lot of time in this correction, which is bad and exciting because we are almost done. But man, since July, we have been in this correction. So,
really, the last wave 2 was so much longer. So that's why I was like, I'm actually so glad that it had that flush there. If we didn't have that flush in October, it would be even longer. Because
it would be so miserable.
It would.
If that didn't happen.
So I'm almost convinced it was on purpose. I mean, we know it was on purpose. It was whatever.
Well, I'm glad it did.
I'm glad it happened. Yes.
And now for TA, we can confirm that we're on a wave 2. So wave 2 typically targets the 618, like we said. A lot of times that standard 618 target is met and reached. But it's more on the bigger markets. A lot of times in the smaller markets, we get more extremes in those targets. The only rule for wave 2 is it can't make a new low. So that's really low on XRP. That's below 38 cents, which I don't think that we're going to see. But for this wave 2 to stay valid, we just can't make a new low. So really the only thing we have to go off of are the fibs down below here and some kind of subwave structure. So we did show how Bitcoin is most likely going to come down to its 618 and probably respect that as support.
Right.
If you head over into traditional markets, the 618 is also where you want to target.
Yeah.
But XRP and even into the smaller micro caps, those can all go to the extremes. They can test their limits.
Super volatile.
Yeah, so that's what we're kind of seeing here. This is the major 618 level here. This is normally, like I said, we're wave 2 a target, but we're already broken down below that. On Coinbase, we've already reached the 786 retracement. So that's a 78% correction from all-time high. So that is just incredible. We're already down below 78%.
Yeah.
So what we're thinking, though, is that based on the subwaves, we are definitely aligning across exchanges to reach 87 cents. So we talked about that in our last live, and it's still the target.
Yes, still nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed since that.
Yeah.
In a minute, I'm going to get zoomed in here.
Yeah.
What you can see, like on this macro plan or the time frame, is that our subwaves are really unclear. At least we don't have a really good ABC count.
Yeah.
There definitely is not consolidation.
Yeah.
So I am just going off of the last 5 wave that I can see.
Yeah.
And that I know is right. So I don't know where this 5 wave that I have marked here fits in the market cycle, but it's clearly printing out a 5 wave down.
Yeah.
So that is where I'm at right now. And I'm zoomed in on the 1 hour, focusing on this last 5 wave.
A lot of times XRP is unclear, but it's really because it goes to targets like right away and then just gets moved around by Bitcoin. And so the fact that you're seeing a 5-wave structure in this point in time could just mean that it's lining up with Bitcoin at that time. You know what I mean? So Bitcoin or XRP does that all the time, where it heads to target right away and then gets pushed around and messed up with the movement of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin takes longer to reach its target. So, but yeah, go ahead, Cass.
And what's crazy is on some of the other exchanges like Binance, Bitfinex, this large flush here in October went all the way down to like the 854 retracement, or maybe 786. And now it's kind of just playing catch up, where you can see here on Coinbase, we're definitely making new lows since that flush. So it's a little bit different. The subwaves are different across exchanges, which is okay. Whenever you don't know where something really is in the market cycle, you want to look for the last printed wave 3. So that's what I've done here, because if you see a really clear wave 3 printed, then you definitely know that a wave 4 is coming next, and then a wave 5, and then you can work your count backwards. Most thing I'm concerned with right now is we have a really clear wave 3 that just happened a few weeks ago, and that flushed, and now we're working out the rest of that 5 wave.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get zoomed in. Yeah, I'm going to get zoomed in here on this 5 wave that I have marked out. And I have been living in here on this 1 hour time frame.
Yeah.
So all the way, you can see it starts from where we hit that major resistance at 240 and started coming down. This right here is very clearly a wave 3. This is where we saw multi-year lows on the RSI. So extreme selling pressure. This is that down here. Whenever we see something like this, like Tara mentioned over on Bitcoin, this is very clearly our wave 3 in the count. So that's good for TA, because then we can get a good clear count of what's next.
Yeah.
And then even after that, we have pretty perfect TA. I know that I keep saying that, but it really is perfect after that. So with our wave 4, so as soon as we have our wave 3 down, then we would build a wave 4 relief up. And this was really nice here. Normally, like we said, it targets the 382, but can come as deep really until we hit wave 1. But what we saw here in this wave 4 so far is a really perfect ABC. The first A came right to 382, and then the C coming right to the 0.5.
Yeah.
And what is also interesting about these levels is this is the macro 618. So like I said, that standard target for this, the golden retracement standard target for wave 2, we came up and hit resistance there. So definitely expected for it to do that, and it looks really clean so far with that.
Yeah.
And just like with Bitcoin, we are either still on our wave 4 or working towards our wave 5 down to new lows. Since we've already come to target on the wave 4, there really should not be a whole lot of trading going on here. We've already reached the 0.5 retracement. Most traders are probably out of a long position, unless you're part of the crazy ones. But we can come all the way up for wave 4 here. Wait, let me zoom in there. This wave 4 can come all the way up to $2 and not break into wave 1. So because we've already reached our targets here, our 382 and the 0.5, it's really undecided. But this is how much room we have in wave 4 to come up and still keep valid for another low.
Right.
If for some reason we are able to break above $2 and flip that to support, that completely changes our plan here. But in between floating between here and $2, nothing really changes. We're just kind of floating here. So I still think that this is our wave top, and that is the highest high there. So I have that marked as our wave 4 top. And then with those highs, it is just like we were saying on Bitcoin. We love when the subwaves perfectly align to the macro fibs. That's what we're seeing here on XRP, is with our high that we had, we are perfectly aligned down below to 87 cents. So I really don't think that we are going to be coming any higher. And it's almost more clear on XRP than it is on Bitcoin. But this is the macro level here. And you can see we are struggling to break resistance. We broke down below the trend line, have hit resistance several times. We even broke our consolidation pattern on the RSI. So this actually recently, like today, had pretty strong selling pressure coming down there. So
yeah,
the plan has not changed on XRP. We either need to come down to our supports at 87 cents. I feel like we've said this like for weeks, but you should maybe be adding a little bit of a buffer down there because so many people are waiting for 87 cents. Even anything below $1 here on XRP, in my opinion, is going to be a buy. Yeah. Because it might be very fast getting to 87 cents, and you may not be able to get in unless you're setting your limit orders right now ahead of time. You might not be able to buy in without a break above $1. It might be very quick. So I would say anything below $1 is a great buy. But definitely probably bouncing off of these supports at 87 cents. Yeah. We also on some exchanges have a 97 cent support and a 93 cent support. I think 93 is a good, well-rounded price where you would capture really this whole cluster here of supports. So yeah, we need to be prepared for those supports to be reached any day now. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Yeah.
But the thing is that it can't have strong momentum. So it can't
we don't
really
want it to
be
strong,
quick.
But it can be fast.
Yeah.
It can come down and touch that, and we could get a good reaction that doesn't really affect the RSI.
Yeah.
So much.
We don't want to, we don't want to drop the RSI to a new low. So it's going to be interesting how these last waves unfold because it can't be strong. Like Cassie said, it could be really quick and then come back up and not affect the RSI, or it could just really be slow grind like it's been doing, just dropping a little bit further, slower, a slow grind down all the way to 87. And then that won't affect the RSI either. So ideally, that's what is going to happen, is that we have, not ideally, but ideally we're going to have a slow grind so that it doesn't have strong momentum and
do not want that
high strength.
To happen.
I know.
I want this to be over with this week.
Well, okay, so when we were just looking at Bitcoin, though, it left that gap right up at those resistances. So Bitcoin, I don't know if Bitcoin's going to be able to move on without reaching those onto its fifth wave. So it could take a little bit of time. XRP could just go sideways until Bitcoin reaches that level and then drops. But we don't, we just have to wait to see.
It's just that small subwave that is really a little bit off. It still had the fifth wave 618 perfectly lined to the larger 618 without
it did, yeah. Yeah,
So
it did.
It could definitely come down and not really care.
Yeah, and we already know that 382, which is the textbook wave forward, that's already been reached. But it did push up above it, almost hit that 0.5 and left.
That is really annoying.
Yeah,
that it came up that close. But the rejection was huge, so I just cannot see it coming back up to there.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin always kind of surprises me sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So we'll see.
Like you're saying, we still have the potential of coming up to those levels and coming down to 50,000.
Yeah.
So
only because it tried, otherwise, if it didn't go past that 382 on Bitcoin, and try for that 0.5 resistance, I wouldn't say that it would, but now that it broke up above the 382 and tried and left that gap there, now it's leaving room for it to come back up and hit it perfectly. So, yeah.
So I wanted to show this on the RSI. When we start to come down towards 87 cents, like Tara said, we really want to make sure that this is printing a bullish divergence, because that's going to give us our next signal that this is the bottom here and we could be pivoting off that fib. Usually in a correction or anytime we're looking for a pivot, we want to align the divergence with a major fib target. So this 87 cents at 854, which is actually the 786 retracement on Binance.
Yeah.
So that 87 cents is really critical across exchanges. It's different fibs though on different exchanges. But that would be our next chance to make sure that we have our bullish diversions printed, and our next best chance at a pivot and getting out of this correction is at that price. But what we want to see then is the RSI print a bullish diversion. So we do not want our strength to be as strong as this wave 3 here. So that's kind of what Tara is saying. We do have some room to come down still, but you can see that if it starts to reach this level, that would tell the algorithms that we have tons of liquidity still left in this market. And it would fight for lower levels until it gets that exhausted new low. So what we want to see is our 87 cents printed holding a bullish divergence. It doesn't have to be this divergence. Like, this is a pretty strong one. We could even see this. We could even see a little bit lower. We just want it to be higher than our wave 3 over here. That's the biggest thing that we're looking for. And we've said this like a few times, the consolidations here on RSI are pretty subjective. So this is our max one here. I'm going to leave it there. We still have a little bit of room to come down. Hopefully, like in the next day or week, like we come down to 87 cents.
We just need a new level to be reached. Like, this is getting ridiculous at this point. It's just like we need a new level to be reached in order for us to just confirm what happens next. And we haven't gotten a new level yet. So
nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. And the only thing that has changed is time. We just have to be patient. Time's going to go by, but as long as price doesn't make it doesn't hit a new level, then really the plan is still the plan. We're still sticking to the plan. So
let us know, you guys. Would you rather us post on XRP or on X on XRP? If there's no change, like, do you want us to come in and say, hey guys, there's no change here? Or do we post once it's changed? Because I feel like when I post too, and I'm like, okay, like, quick update, things like haven't changed, people are like, oh, thanks for that non-advice.
Oh, we don't care. Just tell us if something, what's happening.
Thanks for saying nothing.
But then everyone else is like, oh, why haven't you posted? Well, XRP did this and you haven't posted in a week. It's like, no, XRP didn't do anything. Nothing happened.
Nothing has changed. Like, look at this price action here.
So someone is asking, what's the 8618 extension for wave 3? And Cassie is definitely more bullish than I am. And I think you have the 8618 measured, don't you? Yeah,
I do.
So
that's the max extension that a wave 3 can go. So that's the highest a wave 3 can go.
Last wave 3, we went to the 4618. So I think that is possible at the 4618, but I'm only targeting 1618 because I want to stay more conservative right now before it starts to deform and develop. Once it starts to push,
100% going to extend past a 1618. Yeah. Right now the 1618 is at $6.50. We did not wait all this time and go through all this pain for $6.50 XRP.
Okay, I mean we're gonna know ahead of time, I guess, but
myself.
Yeah,
if that happens.
Yeah, so show us the 4618 and then show us the 8618.
Okay. Let's do that.
And then also, Alex is asking if we have buy orders in place. And if XRP gets to 87 cents, I'm definitely going to be buying. I don't think we're going to see.
Yeah, I have mine at 93 cents right now.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going to see
that's where
that
I'm buying
low again. Yeah,
I don't either. I do not think. I think that is going to be the next buy that we will be talking about, like how crazy it was that we bought XRP under $1 again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when it was stuck at like 70 cents and everyone thought it was like a stable coin. It would never break $1. So we need to get back to, we need to remind those people where we went.
I know, where we came from, because we were stuck, and not 70, it was like we were stuck at like 40 or 50, like just super low for the longest time.
Yeah.
And here we are. So at least it's moving, and at least it's above $1. So
we want to take a look at where wave 3 is going.
Yeah, I think let's take a look at wave 3. Yeah.
Okay. I love looking at where wave 3 is going. It's so nice and happy up there.
Can you imagine when we're talking about $10 XRP, $20 XRP? I'd be so excited. If Bitcoin can go for 5 times up to 240, there is no reason that XRP can't go 10 times. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I think 10 times for sure. XRP should be going way higher than any of these prices, because it's been suppressed for how long? Like we totally missed
7 years in that consolidation.
Yeah, and we missed the last bull runs. It was like we got shafted. So now that that's behind us, I really think the sky's the limit, and it should be reaching its full potential. I don't see anything stopping it from finding its price discovery, because Bitcoin, I mean, I know it was like 50 cents, but we were in Bitcoin at like $100 or $200.
You sent me my first Bitcoin at $400.
Yeah. And then it went up to 100,000. That should be XRP. And we know that. We know that. And so it's just, when is XRP going to have its time to really show its true price? True price.
Yeah. But we know, though, I mean, I don't want to piss any Bitcoin people off, but we know Bitcoin is slow. Really annoying to transfer any money. So what did it pump for? Maybe the black market stuff.
There's no reason for it to pump like that. But the thing is that I don't want to piss anyone off. I know, but the thing with Bitcoin is that yes, it's slow, but it's a lot faster than trading physical gold.
Yeah, and if you had to move it across like countries,
borders,
how many of us are needing to do that? You know what I mean? Okay, well, I have never needed to transfer any money outside of my country.
Yeah, but
the majority of people probably
some people don't.
Yeah.
So
you, on the other hand, Tara's like a world traveler, guys.
I wish I was a world traveler, but I've only been to a few countries. But I do like to travel. Yeah. I did
you
take
have, like,
gold
land
with
in
me.
Turkey.
I did take gold.
That's what I mean.
So maybe I should have taken Bitcoin, I guess. I don't know. I'll see.
Okay, so we're going to show wave 3 targets, which is a really good, fun thing to do because it's really high. And when I show these targets, it's assuming that we come down to 87 cents. So I have, you can see here, our wave 2 targeting the 87 cents. Those extensions will get adjusted if we make a new low below 87 cents, or if we take off from these levels, they'll get adjusted a little higher. But really from, where the low that we made at like $1.11 to 87 cents, it's only going to adjust at like 20 cents. And when we look at those prices above, that doesn't change it a whole lot.
No, it really doesn't.
And like Tara said, XRP went to a 4618 extension just within the wave 1. So this extension could be much higher, and wave 3 is where we see that expansion in the market cycle.
Right.
So 8618 is not out of the question.
Let's see what price it is first, and then we'll see if it's up.
The wave 3 can go to any extension until it gets exhausted.
Yeah.
So don't tell me it can. Okay, so I'm going to zoom way out here, and it's still not going to be able to show everything in this view.
No.
But, okay, so here's our new trend here with our wave 2 correction. And then coming up, okay, I had this up here because let's just start at the extension.
Most conservative. The most conservative
is right here at 1618 at $6.17.
Yeah. And that's if XRP comes lower to 87 cents. So that's usually
all of these are based on the 87 cent low.
Yeah.
So I still think that 87 cents is going to happen, but then it leads to these prices still. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Wave 3, the first target is 1618, and that would be a non-extended wave 3, which it's very likely, in my opinion, that we get a heavily extended wave 3 this time. And we should. This is a brand new asset. It hasn't had its time to shine yet. It's fast. It's easy.
It's the best.
It's cheap.
But really, it does have the strongest team, I believe, in crypto. And it has the best connections.
Strongest project, the best partnerships.
Yeah, it should be on top. I don't know why it's not on top.
Yeah.
Why? Remember when it flipped Ethereum? Why isn't it above Ethereum?
The lawsuit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, let's just
I really don't know. But if you, when the internet bubble came, I was really little. But what I heard is that with the internet bubble, a lot of people were chasing like those really like popular projects.
Yeah.
And it was the ones that actually came out on top were the ones with the best utility, the best tech, and the other ones died off.
Yeah.
So how can we be chasing some stuff that's slow, that's expensive, if this is the future of money?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have to go with what makes sense in our head. Okay, so $6.17 is the first extension. It's definitely going to get extended. I do not think we'll stop there. So our first extension target then is the 2618. I think it's going to go way above this. This is $9.45.
Yeah.
So from 87 cents, we should get a very large reaction off that to at least $9.45. And our wave 3, we're looking for 5 really strong waves to build out.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, and so it's not like one straight candle up there. The first big reaction will most likely be the wave 3 of wave 3. That will get a little pullback and then like the actual high.
Yeah.
The wave 5 of 3. We're looking for like those 5 waves to build, and they should be very distinct. They might be fast, like happening within only a few short weeks.
Yeah.
But they should be very distinct.
Yeah. Yeah. Last wave 3 only took 3 weeks to push. Yeah. And so the market is always
on a larger degree, so it might take a little bit longer. Like I keep saying, like maybe like several weeks. We're not talking months,
right?
To reach it. This should be the fastest time in the entire market cycle. Is this wave 3?
Yeah. So when it comes, it's going to come fast, and it's going to reach fast, and then we're going to be waiting a long time again. For the next one.
We're going to be stuck in wave 4.
Of
a big degree.
Yeah.
Like if we thought these last few weeks were painful, those
are going to be very painful.
Wave 4 are going to be painful.
Yeah. Yep. It might not be years, but it'll be a lot longer than this one probably. This correction.
Wave 2 is since last July.
Yeah.
So wave 4
at least then. Yeah. let's not talk about that wave 4. We don't like wave 4.
We want to hear about that wave 4. So wave 3's next though. After these. And this is the minimum target, $9.45. Like we said, the smaller degree went to a 4.618. So we have to be expecting a major extension out of this. None of these puny ones. Our 3.618 is at 12.74. So that is a really good target. I think it's, and like I said, the 5 waves on the wave up are going to help us define one of these.
Right, exactly.
Be able to see those waves printed out and get a second measurement, confirmation on one of these. Right now, it's anyone's guess. Yeah. Anyone who says they know what extension this is going to is lying.
Yeah.
There's no way to tell which extension this is heading to right now. It's going to be brand new trend. It could go to any one of these. Our next one is at 4.618 at $16. So nice, even 4.618. I like the $16.
I mean, I think that's about as high as I'd be willing to risk. Push it. Just because the last wave 3. So we'll see, I guess, what happens to this one. We're gonna know ahead of time, like Cassie said, because we'll track the 5 waves. I'm really hoping it can push to this during that waves, because that would just...
It may go higher. We'll have to see how the subwaves print out, but it could go higher. So 4.618. Here's our 5.618. My arrow's way above this.
So what are we thinking? So time frame for me, what I believe is when this is going to happen. I think we should be reaching the top during 2026. Do you agree?
Top of wave 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a C.
And we still have plenty of time. It's only March, and like we said, it's gonna form within weeks. So when it comes, it's gonna come very fast. We still have plenty of time for that to start and form this year. So all we need is that 87 cents, and we're so close, and it could finish wave 2 there, and then 3 weeks from finishing wave 2, it could take off and reach wave 3. So I do think we have enough time in 2026, and I think it should be. Yeah.
I think that our 87 cent low happens this month. It's funny because every time I say that, I've said that.
Don't say that, Cassie, because it won't happen.
I've said that for the last 5 months. But I think it happens. But now that we have more subwaves printed, it does kind of help our timing gauge that a little bit. We are on the final low.
Final of the final. But Bitcoin too. Bitcoin really has thrown a wrench in the plans. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin, because...
I mean, my opinion. I don't think that XRP follows Bitcoin. I think it follows its own chart. Yeah. So I disagree. I think Bitcoin follows XRP.
The only reason, I mean, I know we're tracking the subwaves, but the only reason why we're targeting lower levels on XRP is because we think Bitcoin's going to come down for another low. So really, XRP is following Bitcoin. Because if we weren't looking at Bitcoin, XRP technically would have already reached target. It already hit 786. It hit 618 and 786 support. So that's good for a wave 2. So the only reason...
in some cases it went to an 854 already.
Yeah. And so the only reason why we're expecting a new low is because it's most likely going to follow. And the drop is strong. Yeah. So.
And other exchanges didn't quite do that. Like Coinbase, like I was showing, didn't do that yet.
Right.
But we could take off at any moment.
Yeah. We could take off at any moment.
The subwaves are hinting that we definitely need another exhausted low.
Yeah.
Because of all that selling, all the panic selling that you guys did.
Yeah, guys, what the heck?
Yeah, all the panic people selling their holdings that they worked so hard to build up, selling at 60% correction.
Yeah.
I feel bad. But anyway, that's the market. So a few questions.
Yeah.
Will XRP visit 87 cents after we break out for a wave 3? And that is a no. So once we break past wave 1, which our macro wave 1 is at all-time high, once we break past that wave 1, that's the lowest that we could come back down and test. as support. So and I think that's super deep. I don't think that it's going to do that.
Yeah.
But that is really the lowest that we could come back down after we break up above that for our wave 3.
Yeah.
So that's like at 366.
Yeah, and so it depends on how high wave 3 goes. After that, we'll be tracking the 382 retrace, maybe even the 0.5.
38% correction from our wave 3 high is where wave 4 would target.
Right.
We have shown that it can go to a 50%.
Yeah.
And it can go to a 618
if it's above 1.
Yeah, if it's still above 366. If that 618 retracement is still above 366, it can go there.
Yeah.
But the normal target, like Tara said, for a 4 is 38%. And XRP does a really good job of holding like the wave 4 targets when it's a wave 4.
Yeah.
It loves to consolidate.
But also loves the 0.5 fib.
Yeah. Both
so it really depends on how high wave 3 pushes. Because like Cassie said, after wave 3 coming down, we really needed to stay above 366. And so anything, I don't think it's going to drop below that last high once it does push up to wave 3. So the levels that we're at right now is just going to be some of the best buys that we'll ever get in our lifetime. And so we really have to take advantage. I mean, even just buying right now will not be a bad idea.
If you have 0 XRP, how are you sleeping at night?
I can't. I don't know how some people are sleeping.
I don't know either.
So
I don't know either. But so that's why it's hard to give advice too, because it's like it's hard to know what position some people are in. Like some people say, like I have no XRP, when should I buy? It's like today. You should be buying today. Getting some in there. But for people who have been accumulating for a long time and they're just waiting for the next good buy, that's 87 cents. And I've been buying at 3 levels in this correction. So
and we don't have to catch the very bottom. We don't have to try to be like the perfect trader and catch the very bottom cent, we could just have like
that's why I think 93 cents is good, because there's a lot clustered around there, and it's before we broke $1 last time, 93 cents I remember being a really significant level, so we could come down to there and hold that. And if you were trying to get 87 cents, you might miss out. So I think 93 is good, and I'm not going to try to push it. And especially because I'm just spot. Like, I'm not trying to leverage trade anything. And I would be careful about leverage, too, because if we get a very strong wick down, we could get a wick down to who knows what, but then the larger support, at
the candle close.
Cents. Yeah, the candle close. So,
and I can see that happening to just wipe everybody out of the market before it starts pumping. So just be very careful with leverage around these levels.
For any leverage trading,
all the time.
I think for leverage trading, you're going to want to wait for confirmation back above like $2. Once we come down to the low, I think anything with leverage needs to wait until we've broken resistance and flip to support to get that behavior before putting in like leverage trade.
Did you say $2 or did you not say a price? $2. Yep, I agree.
204 is technically on Coinbase the 382. So I would say like if we break above there and then you see it come down and test that support, that would be a good solid trade entry for leverage. But down here, I just like Capone said in our chat, don't catch a falling knife. Just down here, buy spot. And it's still going to be a great buy anyway. We have been so spoiled, like in crypto, like
I know,
thinking that like 6 times our money is like nothing. But it's like people, this is unheard of. This has not happened in many generations. This type of move. So
I know. I'm so grateful.
Be thankful for anything that we get here. There was another question. Once subwave 5 bottoms for wave 2, how long until macro 3 starts? So technically, once we reach that low, that is technically where wave 3 starts. But we did mention a little bit about timing, is that the entire wave 3, all 5 waves of it, should unfold in 5 waves, like 5 smaller subwaves. It's not like one shot straight up to these prices. And that would unfold in like several weeks. So like 2 to like 7 weeks. It should be really quick. Us reaching the bottom and then coming up. the reaction off wave 2 lows should also be very quick and evident. We should be breaking resistance really quickly and spending no time down below these levels. I think Tara has a little bit different of opinion than that, but I think that we should get a big reaction that really gives us a sign that we are now on wave 3. Tara has shown in a few of our lives back how live streams back, not our past lives, in our past live streams.
Yes.
She showed how Bitcoin reached a wave 2 target and kind of lingered down there for like 9 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So there is that possibility that she showed there. But technically, it starts from when we reach wave 2 lows. That's when we're going to start counting out our 5 waves.
Once it hits 87 cents, I think it's any day after. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be like a huge bounce from that level. Hopefully it will. But even if it doesn't, even if like the second it reaches that level, though, any day from that level, it could take off for wave 3. So I guess we'll see how long it stays at that level. But I'm hoping not too long. But I mean, it could. It doesn't. We have all the time in the world, guys. We're young. We can let this we can let this hit the target and just sit and wait for our money to print.
Not everyone is young, and maybe not everyone has all the time in the world.
I mean, they have 3 weeks. That's all. That's really all they need.
But if it comes down to wave 2 lows, I think that we'll get at least a small reaction where it's like a wick to our targets and maybe back above like $1, where you get that one chance to buy in at those lows, and then it forms support a little bit higher and just kind of keeps creeping up until we get our large wave 3 of 3 printed. But I don't think it's going to linger like down at 87 cents, but it could go off slowly for a little bit before getting our wave 3 of 3, which is like the firework wave of wave 3. But
so it'll push for wave 1, and then we'll have another. We didn't show this the 8
I'm looking at my chart and I was like, it's still above this.
Look at your chart. I was wondering what that line was for the longest time, and it's an arrow. Okay, let's see the 8618.
Okay, so that's 5618. I feel like you convinced me last time to take off my 8618, but
okay. No, you did this in the live on our Discord when I wasn't there, and you're like, "Oh, Tara."
Oh yeah, and I said if Tara were watching this, she'd be so mad at me for showing these extensions.
8618.
No, what I was showing was the extension we needed to go to reach $80. Which basically there's no extension that we can go to reach $80, but. I was showing that even at the 8618 extension, it would still not even be able to make it to $80 for wave 5.
I've done all the
crazier things have happened. Like
crazier things have
100,000.
So I've done all the mapping for all the conservative targets, mapping it to $100, and it isn't for like 3 more full cycles when XRP reaches $100. So there's just that's that. That's the conservative. Those are all the conservative targets. If XRP didn't,
and that's only using the price action that we have so far.
Yeah, it is.
So we could get a big surprise in the market that would shift all of those feature mappings that we did.
Yeah. So
hopefully we do. Hopefully that switch gets flipped.
I know.
Yeah, like where's the switch that was supposed to get flipped a long time ago, overnight?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, so this is the 6618 extension. So this is a heavy extended wave 3. Can still come to here. We'll see how the subwaves kind of look as we break out. But at this price is $22.60. That would be incredible, and that would be quite the extension from 87 cents.
Yeah, it would.
Here, but it is part of this.
It is part of this. And then the 7.
Now the 7 is at $25.87.
Yeah. So this is getting a little too bullish for me. This is a little too radical for me.
So this is a 7618 extension. We're close to the max of of wave 3 extensions.
Yep.
We've seen in like meme coins it going to an 8618. I don't think the XRP is like with the large of market it is. I don't think that we're going to go to an 8618 extension.
Yeah.
I think that's very unlikely for that
during that wave. I mean, it could definitely get to that price eventually, but
yeah, during this next wave up.
Yeah.
This year, basically.
This year.
So that was $25.87. That's a 786.
Yeah.
Or that's a 7618.
Yeah.
You know what I meant. Okay.
And there it is. But yeah, I did. I told you to take it up.
Yeah, I think I had it out. We're adding that back in. This is the highest extension that a wave 3 can go. There it is. That's at $29.
Yeah.
So
that would be
8618. I have my wave 3 there.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm just kind of trying to tell the charts what to do here. We want it to go.
You're manifesting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$29 is the highest extension. Basically, what I was showing in our Discord is that even if we reach the highest extension at $29, that doesn't set up $80 fifth wave.
Right.
So,
and it could even just double top too. After.
Yeah. So there's our 8618 at $29.
Yep.
And I think we said when I was doing the math, I think the breakout would have to go above $50 in order to reach $80 for our wave 5.
Yeah.
So it's not even in the charts.
No. At least within this next wave. It has then this is showing it's going to have to do a wave 3, a 4, a 5, and then another wave 2, and then the wave 3 after that has the potential to go higher, and then it's going to need another 4 or 5, and then another wave 2, and then the 3 after that.
Years out.
Yeah.
Decade out.
Yep.
Based on the price action that we have, and we have been in this freaking lawsuit for 7 years.
Yeah.
So
what did it take 7 years in the lawsuit?
Well, the consolidation was 7 years. I think the lawsuit was shorter.
Yeah.
But whatever. The consolidation for 7 years. And basically the lawsuit forced us to continue into that consolidation.
Yeah.
So we really haven't seen good price discovery yet.
No, not really. And like you said, the so far in XRP, it's done one full cycle.
Yeah.
And it's on wave 2 right now, working on the second cycle, basically. It's in the second cycle. So we know how long it took for that full cycle. The first full cycle took many, many years to form. Right there. Yeah. So from the very beginning. Oh, so this is coin. Okay. So this isn't even all of the data. Wait, Cass, you're muted or something?
Sorry. I just didn't like this song.
Oh, I can't even hear the music anyway.
Okay, good. I don't like this song. But anyway, the consolidation here, that actually is more, like you're saying, this isn't all the data.
Yeah, it isn't.
We want our next breakout to make this price action look like this.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So since the full first 5 waves is just wave 1, the wave 3 could definitely explode a lot faster and higher than the first wave 1.
And the 1. Yeah,
so that was just wave 3 of wave 1 that reached a 4618. Yeah. So I see what you're saying, where the wave 3 of 3 could extend a lot higher. Yeah. So,
for $20.
I don't know if you can hear Sophie, but she's pounding on the door saying,
I can't
"No,
hear
stop, please,
no,
don't."
Please.
That's her new thing is, "No, stop, don't, please."
Don't.
For everything, I'm like, "Do you want a brownie?" "No, please don't." It's like, okay. She's so dramatic.
That's funny. She's so cute. I love her. Okay, so I think that let's kind of recap here a little bit for those that are maybe just joining late or something. let's give like a quick recap on Bitcoin, a quick recap on XRP, and then move into altcoins.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to your Bitcoin chart.
Okay.
And I think more zoomed in. I think when we do our recaps, let's get like what is going to happen in like the next few days to a week or so this month.
All right. So, okay.
And I'll switch over to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry, I just had to do that. What? Okay, so here is Bitcoin on the 1 hour. So this is a little more zoomed in. Cassie likes to stay on the 1 hour. I usually stay on the 4 hour, but this is a little more zoomed in. It's just showing that we're still stuck in this wave 4 here. This is that wave 3 drop. We're still in this wave 4. And the reason why we say that is because it hasn't dropped below the bottom of 3 yet. So we don't really have confirmation of a wave 5 until it starts to make a new low. We have a lot of support to building right at that double bottom there. So the reason that's why we believe it's still in wave 4 is because it's still above that level. And it just came up to try to reach that 0.5 resistance, and it left that gap there. So because of that, I'm assuming that, or it's going to be really hard for, I think, Bitcoin to come down without picking up these resistances here, just because of how close it got there. So unfortunately, what we need to happen now is it needs to reach a new level. We need Bitcoin to either come up and reach that 0.5 resistance perfectly, or it needs to drop below this trend line here and drop below the 644 level, which is the 0.5 macro level. So we said this earlier that we just need new levels to be reached in order to really confirm what's going to happen next. That's what that looks like on Bitcoin. Is it breaking below the 64,400 level, past this last low here? And then we can start to track it down to the 618 here, down to our lower targets. And that's what we're hoping happens, is it coming down and picking up these supports here within the next few weeks. That's what we're hoping is going to happen. If it does come up, I think this is going to be very quick. Coming up to these resistances here, and it could even come up as high as the 79,000. But this should be quick. If it does come up, it should be within this next week, and then it's going to drop hard again down to those lower levels that we're still expecting. So we have these 3 fibs here. You can't see it on this one, but this higher fib here is the 1 fib. This is for that full wave C. So this is a solid fib. This has already been measured. It's not going to be readjusted anymore with any new waves. So this is solid for wave C here, right at 52.2. And so this is this is what I'm expecting most of the levels to line up to. But you can see that it is higher than the macro 618. So we need all of these, hopefully this lower 618 here to be reached during that next wave to just pick up all of that support. So then we can have a lot of momentum, lots of strength, lots of participation for that next wave coming. So this fib here in the middle is the 618 extension for the 5th wave of wave C. And this one I am remeasuring and adjusting with this high here for wave 4. So I have it set right to the high that it's already made. And then if it does bounce off of this trend line here coming up to the 0.5 fib at 75.4, I'll readjust it. And I've shown earlier in the live today how that brings up the 5th wave for wave C exactly to the 1 fib at 52.2. So that's what we should be expecting. And I'm assuming within this next month or so is when we could get that new low and reach those lower targets. So I'm hoping that it could happen sooner rather than later. But the fact that it missed that resistance there means that this might be dragged on a little bit longer, because there's a gap up there. So I think,
and the only thing then and validating that final touch towards 50,000 to 52,000 is breaking above 79,000.
Yes. Yep. So that would be breaking up above the macro 382, which then at that point, we can start to look at these resistances here. So right now, because we are below 79,000 and we, and above this 0.5 fib, right now, like I said, we need new levels to be reached in order to confirm more. But what we are expecting is it eventually to break down again past the 0.5 like it did here and come down and have that bullish divergence where we need a new low in price, and we don't want the RSI to break below this level over here. So this was like I've shown earlier, this was as extreme as Bitcoin's last wave 2 correction when Bitcoin was down at 15,000. So that's how low this got here. Really, from a TA perspective, that could also mean that we're starting to form a bottom. So not necessarily like the bottom's exactly at these prices, but on a higher time frame on the macro scale, a bottom is nearing because that RSI pushed to such an extreme low that the bottom is in the making. So that's also nice to see that there. So that could give us, a little more hope that we just need, a little bit more low. We're nearing a bottom. Because, so that's just what that means. If we were going to much lower targets, we wouldn't have reached such a low on the RSI already. So that's the silver lining in all of this, is that we're so close. And these are the macro levels here. We have the 382, the 0.5, and the 618. So ideally, since we are so close to the 618, I'm hoping we can scoop all of this up before we head up, because it would just make for an explosive wave 3. So, and we've measured wave 3 before. I do want to say that even if it is on wave 3, the wave 3 target, like Cassie mentioned, is up at $250,000. But on the way up to wave 3, it's going to be 5 full waves. That first wave is targeting a double top. So, so even if we are on wave 3, what I think we can expect is major resistance at a double top still, no matter what, and then a retrace coming down, and I think that's going to take quite a bit of time. And then it's going to come back up to test the all-time high one more time, and on that time is when it has the potential to break. So even if we do come down and reach these supports down here at the 618 and then break past these resistances that are still roadblocks, no matter what happens, these are still major resistances here at 85.3 and 93.2. No matter if it comes up and breaks past these levels here, we're still looking at a major resistance level at that double top. So that's something that we'll have to watch out for in the coming months. Later. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that was good for our Bitcoin recap. Steve, you did hear a dog. I have a golden doodle who does not leave my side. And if anyone wants a dog, he's free. And I will ship him wherever he needs. But he's right here. And he is my
He's attached to Cassie, even though Cassie doesn't like him.
He does not leave me alone.
Yeah, I know.
So yes, these are here. You can't see him, but he's a golden doodle. Okay, we had another question. Oh, the passing of the Clarity Act would not change any of these predictions. It will probably align with the predictions that we have here. It's more, we don't look to any news to like invalidate the predictions. It's more price levels. So like we were saying here on Bitcoin, if it breaks up, if that Clarity Act passed and we were able to break up above 79,000, that would start to change the prediction of the $50,000 to $52,000 low. But most likely the news will be released on a wave 3, because that is where the news cycle comes in and we start to get full participation is on the wave 3. So as we're still finishing up the wave 2, it's most likely we won't get that major news until that wave 3.
Well, and it really depends on what the market is looking at the time of when the news is dropped.
Because like if wave 2 lows have already been reached and that passes, then it's fully aligned with what
exactly. But also if people are waiting for that to be passed, and the market starts pumping and then the news drops, it could drop the market too. So that's why we just keep the news completely separate from the charts, because we believe that news follows the markets and markets do not follow the news. So we're backwards that way. We don't believe the news changes the market at all. So we like to keep news is just emotion driven. By the time that something becomes news, it's not necessarily news anymore, or it's already been developed in the chart. So yeah.
All right. So let's do a quick recap on XRP, and then we'll get to some of these altcoins. My dog will not let me stop petting him.
I was wondering what you were doing.
Yeah, he will not let me
Why?
stop. So
what happens if you stop?
If you give him any attention, you give him an inch and he wants a mile. Like that's what it is. He's so needy.
Kobe.
Okay. Yeah, his name's Kobe. Okay. So here is XRP. This is where I normally oh no, this is 4 hours. I was like, why does this look so clean? Okay, so this is the 4-hour chart. And what we've been saying is basically nothing has changed. So what we've been saying for a long time is that this is on a wave 4. And the price action is, as it's developing, is really helping to confirm it is wave 4. So that's good. But then what we're looking for is our support down below to get reached. So this is at 87 cents across exchanges. You're going to want to put a buffer in that because some exchanges are a little different, and there's going to be heavy participation in at that level. So what I've been telling people is that anything below $1, look to start getting in and buying. So if you are setting a limit order, mine is at 93 cents. So I feel like that's a good, well-rounded price, and I don't need to catch the exact bottom.
Well, and you have it at 93, I think, because there's a fib cluster. That's the highest of the fib cluster.
Right here.
Yeah.
So that's why I have it at 93 cents. It's a good calculated number that's going to get picked up in all of this cluster down here, like Tara said. So 93 cents, I'm looking for that to get reached. It could go as low as like that 87. We could get a really crazy wick that sends it down super, super low, but then our closes are down at that major level. So that could happen. But then that would change if we start to break above resistance and look at our price action. It is struggling and has not had the strength to break above.
And interestingly enough, Bitcoin made a new high during this wave 4 and XRP didn't. So that was very interesting. So it's almost like XRP reached its target and now it's waiting for Bitcoin to finish and they're going to drop together probably. So some more sideways action for XRP coming.
So we're waiting on that wave 5 target down below. Right below $1. Otherwise, if for some reason we're able to break resistance, we're looking above. So the only thing that will truly invalidate that touch down another wave 5 is if we break above $2. So it's actually 204, because that would be breaking into wave 1 territory, which invalidates wave 5. So we got a lot of room to go before that would even happen. But if we are looking like more short term, if we start to get a good spurt of momentum in here, we could potentially break $1.65 and go to $1.78. That's like the only thing that I know. Like I would not be taking it further above that if we don't reach supports yet. But kind of that might align with what you were seeing on Bitcoin at 75 to 79. We could get this little bounce here from like $1.65 to $1.78. I think it's less likely because this is a major resistance level now. This is the golden retracement that is now strong resistance, so up towards $1.65, and we've already reached it, and definitely are struggling since. So it's more likely that we're going to come down to these supports, and with the high that we reached at our wave 4, which was a perfect 0.5 retracement, it lines up perfectly to our 87 cents, the wave 5. So I don't think that this is going to change. I think most likely coming down towards those lower supports. So we all have to be ready and we all have to be buying that level so that we take off from there really, really fast. So that's our recap on XRP there.
Yeah.
So I think that we can start getting into some altcoins.
Okay.
So let us know what you guys want to see. We've seen several requests here.
Yeah.
We have GRT that we'll look at. We'll have Algo. Let me pull up my watch list here. GRT, Algo, HBAR, Flare. We'll take a look at if there's anything else you want to see. Let me know.
I think we have the request for XLM, but
okay, XLM.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just start here.
Ondo. We have
a
somewhere
lot of
coming
these
in.
coins. There's like not a whole lot going on, but let's just take a look at the charts, and maybe for those that haven't seen any of our other previous analysis on them, like we can get them caught up on what's happening.
Do it.
Okay, so this is GRT here, and this is technically a new all-time low.
Fortunately.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's that. And the only thing I'm looking for on GRT is that we don't make a new all-time low, because then I'll have to get reset on my retracement levels. And we don't have any extension levels because no subwaves have printed.
Yeah.
But there is some exciting news. So we have this being just real stagnant here. Like you're seeing, we could be starting to try to form a bottom here. There isn't much to go off of, but the price is stagnant while our momentum is building up on the RSI. So our momentum is coming in more bullish as we're at this critical low here. I think we could take off really at any time. Down under this resistance level are just levels to buy in, like with spots, accumulate a holding. I've bought almost every single one of these levels at GRT. So I'm not giving any advice that I'm not doing myself. These are all buys down here, because the potential on GRT is so high. So we have, I need to step back a little bit more to show you the macro retracement levels here. It is respecting these levels really nicely. So that gives me more confidence that we're going to play these levels on the way up. Our 36 or 35 cents has already been tested. So I think that as we start to break for a new trend, it will head to the fib that hasn't been tested yet, which is at 69 cents. So even with where we're at right now at 2.5 cents, even to the 35 cents is incredible opportunity and very like conservative, because that's only the 118 retracement.
Yeah.
The first technical retracement isn't until 69 cents.
Yeah.
So that is a very good target up there. That's why I have my arrow pointed right there. I think we could be targeting 69 cents on GRT. So great time to be getting in on that at 2.5 cents.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep looking to this, and this is one of my biggest altcoin holdings apart from XRP. If you consider XRP an altcoin now. And even look on the daily here on our RSI, we are putting in some momentum. We're building a good bottom. Yeah. So hopefully we start to break above that. For trading, you're going to want to wait for it to break resistance here, which is why I have my arrow right to that. Because you want to wait for it to break resistance and come back to flip as support before it starts to take off.
Yeah.
So GRT is a very good one to be getting in on, mainly because of the potential here.
Really, the next wave should be making a new high.
All-time highs.
Yep.
Yeah. So
6 is definitely conservative.
Yes.
So that's a good one to get in on for sure.
Yeah, this is a good one. And we did say not every coin is going to have a recovery. We need to make sure that we're focused on the really strong projects, especially ones like listed on Coinbase too, where they do a lot of the vetting out before listing. I think that's going to be our biggest bet, is making sure it's like listed on several exchanges, has a good product roadmap, website, purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then off to Algo, which has been kind of gross looking. Like, look at how straight shot this down. This is on the daily time frame.
Wow.
So that's really, really crazy. Let me try to rescale this a little bit. There we go. So I think my red line was all-time low. This is literally a new all-time low.
Wow.
On Algo.
And Algo is a good, strong
I know.
product. So
I think that's crazy too.
But remember, guys, when a new almost easier, it's almost easier because it just erases all of the mess that it's made, and it could start fresh. You know,
I mean, it doesn't have a choice now to start fresh.
Have a choice. It has to start fresh. So from now, it's going to be trend.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so this 8.5 cents that we are at right now, and when something makes a new all-time low, it's so hard for analysis because there's nothing below that. Like, you can't just keep making new all-time lows, and you can't get extensions below that or retracements. So it's really difficult.
Yeah.
But this red line here technically was the previous all-time low.
Yeah.
So it is kind of still like flirting with that a little bit.
Yeah. It's okay still.
Yeah, the first resistance is up to 48 cents and then 66 cents.
Yeah.
So those are the next conservative levels. Not as much as GRT, but Algo is a much stronger project, so that's not going to see the returns like GRT would.
Right.
But like you said, these should start making new all-time highs technically. Once we end a consolidation, it should come up to new all-time highs.
Yeah.
So that is above $2.80. We should be heading above that. So
we're going to need a lot of liquidity, a lot of money to push that to that price. So
yeah.
And we'll see what happens. I don't know where all that money is going to come from.
Well, the market cap isn't technically the amount of money in the ecosystem. It's just last price.
Yeah.
Times, or supply times last price. So anyway, this should start to take off. And what we should see is some subwaves built of a new trend to help us, just like we were saying in XRP, to help us pinpoint where that breakout should be heading. Right now we have no subwaves built in a new trend. So we are waiting on that. But this is honestly the state of most altcoins right now.
Yeah, it is.
Testing all-time lows. Like these altcoins, I don't want to say can't go lower, but what is happening to the altcoins?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Who is killing this?
Yeah. And like we were saying, make sure the altcoins that you're in have a strong use case, a strong roadmap, strong team. Make sure they're really vetted. Really well, and I don't know how some of these are going to recover. I'm not the ones that we're going through, but like most of these coins, like most of the crypto, whereas like last bull run, if you want to call it, seems like all of them just like shot up for no reason, and it seems like this one that's coming is not going to be that case. It's going to be only utility coins are going to make it. And how long have we been hearing that? Of like the ones that don't have utility are going to die off. This is the time when they're dying off. Algo's really low. We know Algo has a strong use case, and it's a strong project, but I can't believe these are making new all-time lows. So
yeah. Well, Crypto Laser says, when were you guys ever right?
Oh. Okay. Well, we're right that this is a new all-time low.
I will definitely be blocking him after this, but make sure you do too. But we have been right a lot of times. We didn't grow a following for no reason, or 3,000 people watching the stream for no reason. So this is what we have the state, and we're just reading what the market is giving us. So here's altcoin at a new all-time, or here's algo at a new all-time.
Well, and I always say these are not our fibs. Like a lot of people are like, it broke your support, but these are not our supports. These are not our resistances. These are everybody's who's in this market because it's using the low and the high that it's already made. It's not, there's no room for interpretation or error really when you're measuring retracements. Everybody should have the exact same level showing right here, right now. So,
and look at what the market's giving us.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on here a little bit, and we'll look at H-bar. So I was right on H-bar, actually, Crypto Laser. So in the last live stream, we talked about this 854 being support, coming down to reach that, and then holding as support. So H-bar is still doing that. I'm hoping that this is the low here. And this is actually, so this is the 854 retracement and the C target. So HBAR has a pretty good clear chart on the correction so far. I really just hope that it holds this. There's nothing below an 854 retracement. So we don't want it to break that. And and actually this is one of the only altcoins that is holding like wave 2 levels. A lot of the other altcoins have made new all-time lows, which invalidates a wave 2. But this one is still holding strong in here. And the extensions above, we're looking, I think it was $1. Let me go to it a sec. So $1 is our first extension target. That's a 2618. And then coming down to test and down here for wave 4 is 67 cents, and then up towards $1.40. And I think you have similar extensions, Tar. But every time I say this, a lot of people are like, that's it, like for HBAR. But really, if you look at the chart that HBAR is giving us, like there isn't a whole lot of expansion in here. You know, like we have this wave 1 and then a very deep wave 2, which kind of shortens the extensions. Not a whole lot like too exciting about HBAR, but
we're not going to hype up a price where it's just not fitting in the market, and we're only going to show the targets of where this is measuring to, you know.
And it's still 10 times. It's still 10 times from the current price. So
exactly.
Stop being spoiled. Not you.
Spoiled.
Everyone else. We even just to get a 10 times out of a project is really crazy. We've been way too spoiled with like these 100x's. Like
I know.
Like when's the next 100x coin? You know. But yeah, I think H bar is looking good, and we are pretty much at support. It's already had the wick. Hopefully, we build the right shoulder and maybe even start to head up above 11 cents, which would be really strong. That this is the bottom. And like just looking at these altcoins, are they going to go down further or what?
Yeah, I'm hoping they just stay put.
Yeah, it's like we need Bitcoin to come up to help some of these altcoins.
Yeah. I mean,
otherwise they are literally going to zero.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we just need to move on. We need Bitcoin to reach its levels, and then the market can move on. I'm so sick of being in this correction.
I know, me too.
So annoying.
Yeah, it is.
But like I said, the run or the wave 3 that's going to come next is going to be so quick. And then we're going to be in a correction again. So the market is always, I can see Cassie's really mad right now.
I'm running down that, guys.
The market's always hurry up and wait, and most of the time we're waiting. So this is just the nature of the markets. I think the next run's going to happen so quickly. We're going to get super excited, and then we're going to be in that next correction, waiting for the next.
And these live streams are going to be fire once wave 3 kicks off. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's flip over to Flare. Another one that I'm really excited about. This has like one of the cleanest charts right now, even better than HBAR. So here's our low here, heading to all-time low, which it didn't make a new all-time low. It just came down to test that support. And look at our RSI. So as we're coming down to that major level, we are building a lot of momentum under the surface here on Flare. So this one is a really strong one to take a look at. And technically we have flipped above resistance. So that's good. I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. We need to just hold off just for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And just hold where they are, and then we'll be okay.
Yeah. So hopefully it does. I do like what I'm seeing on the RSI, and that's really what we would be looking for is how is the RSI behaving as it's coming down for a new low. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. A new low in the correction, not a new all-time low, but our RSI is building up. So this is a really good one here. For our extensions above, we're looking at 8.5 cents, 13 cents, and 18 cents. I definitely think that because Flare has been in this major consolidation its entire life cycle, that we'll start to get those more extended targets with the breakout of this. So I definitely think we could be reaching like the 13 and 18 cents from here. And we're slightly below a penny right here. So 13 to 18 times from the levels down here. Yeah. This is a really good one to be getting in on.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are scared of like the rewards and the wrapping, you know, like of how people, the distribution of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. There were other coins that also have distribution rewards, you know, that still follow their charts. And
are you saying in the beginning how it was distributed?
Well, like even right now, you can, you know, wrap your player and make money off of it. Like the yield type coins.
Right.
We've still seen like their base underlying asset make new highs. Like I don't think that has too much to do with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be scared about that. Right. In my opinion. And I'm banking
That's
on
a good thing.
Because I've bought it. So I don't think that. Yeah. And did you ever find your flare?
I have flare. It's delegated or whatever it is.
Yeah. Wrapped.
Yeah. And then it's being is compounding automatically. Okay. And then Songbird. So if you held flare, you got Songbird, I think, as well. So I also have Songbird too somewhere.
Well, don't look at that. It's devastating.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is.
So if you did, it's probably not worth the whole lot.
Yeah, because I know flare. I mean, now we can see that flare is so low. But at one point, it was a decent amount because everybody got airdropped the flare from their XRP holdings. Mm-hmm. So at one point, it was a decent amount.
Did end in January.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're done with that. We're ready to move on. Okay. So that was that. That's flare. And then you said XLM. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah, XLM. We have XLM, Ethereum, which I don't know what CC is.
Okay, so look at XLM here.
Yeah.
We are right at the 854 retracement. And our RSI is also building bullish. And this is on the daily time frame, so pretty macro of a time frame. Look how nicely it's holding our 854 retracement.
Which in TA, really this is really the last level that you want wave 2.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's holding here, you don't want to break it below this, but the fact that it is holding here is a really good sign. And you can see the RSI is building as well. So that's what you want to see is with the price leveling. Kind of easy here how it's building up, but what that also means is it's losing that bearish strength,
selling strength.
Yep. So that's
this is good. Hopefully this is a nice hold here.
Yeah,
because like we said, there's not much below an 854 retracement, but if we look over to the left, this is previous resistance, which we were saying in a few live streams ago, or maybe last live stream, that it really isn't unexpected to come back down to this level because we had a major break of that resistance without a flip to support.
Yeah.
A lot of times if a fib that was resistance breaks, it needs to right away flip to support, or it's going to head back to flip to support, which right now it's doing that. So this is still pretty good right here on XLM.
Let's get the targets of where we think this is.
Okay. I think I do have the extension put in there. What's difficult is it's like this count.
It's right there. It would only be like, I don't know if we can use
that's why I
the
have
entire
this one extension at 70 cents.
Yeah.
Because the 618 doesn't make a new high, so that doesn't make sense. But the one extension could happen. But this price action, this is why we said that XLM is boring. It's because with this price action, we can only expect a wave 5 to come next, because this is
wave 5 and not 3.
Because this is definitely a wave 3, and we didn't invalidate this as a wave 4.
Okay, well, it's in
kinda, but kinda not. Well, I have both. So this would be a wave 5 target,
which is conservative. Yeah, which would be the conservative.
70 cents, pretty conservative. Yeah. And then the next targets are if it goes on to wave 3, like XRP and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So this would be $1.05 and then $1.61. So if it does break 70 cents, that's where it could head up to those higher targets. But I just don't like this setup here. I don't like it.
Me neither. It doesn't look right. And there's so many coins that look like this looks exactly like the other charts that we were just seeing.
This looks like H bar.
Yeah. So, and that's what, like, normally when you're going to measure the extensions, we would use the first wave all the way on the left, and then wave
over here.
Yeah. On the left, I mean.
Oh, that way.
Yeah. Normally use wave to measure the extension.
Like
but yeah, so because of the way it's I don't know if it's gonna even make it to this one.
It.
Yeah, shortening it. Yeah. So we'll see. And I know we just have a thing. We do have, like, we'll publicly say it. We have a thing against XLM.
I have nothing against it, but it's the chart that annoys me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but normally charts wouldn't annoy you if the coin didn't annoy you.
Yeah.
So
I would be annoyed if I was an XLM holder.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Yeah. But I don't know how you're not annoyed being an XRP holder. I'm annoyed being an XRP holder. I'm annoyed being an XRP diehard. We're one of those XRP freaks. If you guys haven't noticed, if you don't like XRP, you won't like us.
You won't get my hang. And if you are into Ethereum, just watch that booger video, and you will no longer be
an Ethereum fan.
All right, you guys, I think that's going to be it for us today. What you saw here with RSI, Fibonacci, and Elliott wave theory is exactly what we teach over in our Discord. This last week, we finished up our intro to Elliott wave theory. And the next few weeks, we're going to be getting even more in depth into Elliott wave theory. So if you are wanting to learn the tools that we teach here on the live stream, that is a great place and a great time to come and join us as we're going through all of our lessons. So to get started in our Discord, you go to twinsofcrypto.com. That will show you how to sign up for that. And if you are already trading or wanting to get into trading, especially trying to capture this next support, that would be a great time to start trading. As you waited a great time to get into that. But if you are in the US and are looking for a place to trade futures and leverage, we highly recommend Blofin. It is quite literally one of the only places you can trade futures and leverage, being a U.S. citizen. So get started with them. The link is right here on the screen. There's that QR code. But then in the comments of this live stream, I did also post the link. Please sign up using our Twins of Crypto link. It does help us out. We're trying to get so many people signed up with our link so that we can continue with our partnership with Blofin, which is really great for us. And it's one of the easiest ways that you guys can support what we're doing here today. So thank you all for joining this, and I hope you have a great weekend. And we will be posting next week, even if there's no change to the plan. So thank you all so much.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that if you missed any of the live streams, that they're always posted right after we're done on both of our pages on X. So if you want to go back and check out the video and just replay what we went through today, you can do that as many times as you need. And again, this is posted also on YouTube, and we also do this every Friday. So make sure to come back and join us next Friday when we'll have another update for you. So thank you all.